Hi, John Wanoa here from Otahuhu, Auckland, New Zealand. I just want to make a short video clip of the last video I did of the 28th of October 2025, hui at Waitangi Te Moai, the Declaration of Independence Day, or Day of the Flag of New Zealand, King William IV, 1835. I just want to read a few notes just to make a short analysis of what I was saying in 23-page court hearing on the 28th. So I'm talking about a short overview with Killinrush in Northern Ireland, Belfast, and what we are proposing to do, to join two kings together, the King of Netherlands, Willem Alexander, and the Prime Minister there now, Dick Schoof, and today is the election day for a new Prime Minister there of the Netherlands, Dutch, who found New Zealand and found Easter Island and the Moai statue there. So, to cut it short, I just want to say that our meeting of the minds of what we are proposing to do with New Zealand, Dutch found country, and our flag of King William IV and King William III, 8-point star of St. Patrick's Church in Belfast, Downpatrick, that is entrenched inside the flag in the four corners of the planet, northeast, southwest, or Naho e Wha, the 8-point star there in the corner, and the canton with the red cross of King George or St. George. The small cross is the contract we have with the British Crown, and King William IV, King William III of Orange, Dutchman there in that jurisdiction of contract law in Westminster Parliament. That's one side of the story. And then we've got the Dutch King Willem Alexander, who's alive in Netherlands. That's the other king of our contract. I'm proposing to put the two kings together, the king in Westminster, King William III of Orange, and the present day live king, Willem Alexander, put his title together as the founder, patent right holder, and legal mortgage holder of all technology of the chip, the semiconductor, lithography of all computers in the world, all missiles, all military equipment, all medical equipment, all cars and trucks and electric vehicles, and that have the technology of the Dutch inventor there, and also the patent right holder of our flag of King William III and King William IV, 8-point star Irish, and the Battle of the Boyne in the flag, entrenched or there as a living document that I'm using. That authority and jurisdiction at Helensville, Awaroa Bank, and Judge John Rogan, Irishman. There, his surrogate to speak for him, and his courthouse, the native magistrate courthouse that created the first mortgage, 10-acre land block that got every land block of 10 acres in the world cut down in size to a small mortgageable instrument to go to the bank, get a loan so that you can develop the land with a loan from the bank, and that's the Bank of England stole that technology from the Dutchmen who went into England, on England's soil native land, in Westminster Parliament, to use as a wrecking yard for 4 different countries' government sovereigns. That's Wales, England, Scotland, and Ireland, Northern Ireland, that is, not the whole of Ireland, and Ulster there, to Ulster here in New Zealand, where the flag and its jurisdiction was hidden here at Te Marae, Waitangi. Now, who is going to speak up for that flag that was given as a Confederation of United Tribes flag direct from Westminster? And at the moment, the flag flying at Te Marae and Waitangi Marae is King William IV's flag from Australia under Queen Victoria and Queen Elizabeth. And you'll see Queen Elizabeth on the courthouse in New Zealand as the partner to Maori above the judge's head. And on the documents, it's got King Charles, King of New Zealand, versus the defendant. And so there's a conflict of interest of Australia, New South Wales and New Zealand, government in Wellington, foreign private corporation in Washington, D.C. Okay, so there, that's registered business is there, running this country amok under foreign ownership of the lease that belongs to us, the native sovereign people of the land, the same as every other country that's been colonised or taken over by the British Crown and the Rothschild Bank, and all the spokes of a wheel of an interest to the Crown ownership, legal inheritance. So I'm saying here, the inventor of that wheel of fortune, and in the centre is the axle. This is what I'm explaining to Killen Rush in Belfast, Northern Ireland, to all the people in Europe and Britain, in England, Westminster, and UK government there, that you people are confusing the kings from the river to the sea, and from the sea back to the river, up the river, the riparian rights of the river to Westminster Parliament. All roads lead to Westminster Parliament. No house in the world that made the original Admiralty mortgage bank lien in a 2-bar pound note instrument. And the Rothschilds came along and put a 1 bar because William Patterson, Scotsman, wouldn't give up his 2-bar pound note to the Rothschilds and Queen Victoria. So they just made another pound note outside of Parliament. It never got the royal assent from King William III of Orange, the king at that time, to make it legal and legitimate. So that means every money that was made out of that 1 bar pound note into the US dollar fiat money, into the crypto of Donald Trump, into all the other monies funneled out of the US at the point of a gun to all the countries that have bought into it, is tainted. The money is tainted. It is corrupted and has not got royal assent of a king. And King Charles cannot put a court of record together that his bloodline made the contract of mortgage bank liens and loans. Okay? It goes back to the inventor, King William III of Orange, and now he and King Willem Alexander of Netherlands will court there I'm trying to put them two together. Killen, just tell the people in Britain and Europe that those kings together, the flag that we have, and the constitution of that flag, 1835, and the 1852 British Constitution that I'm using for the native title, that no one can sell the land except the Queen or the King. Okay, so there. The Maori land was sold by the Queen, not the King, the Queen. So that is tainted. All their documents are subjected to this 23-page affidavit. The truth prevails over the lies and deception and corruption of the law of Emperor King's bloodline, DNA. Okay, so as soon as the Queen got it, her hands on it, the Rothschilds jumped in and married into Queen Victoria, the bastard, or bastard, Edward, the King Edward line, down the Victoria line. And that's where the problem is. Killen, just tell your people there in Ireland, Northern Ireland, that you must understand what I'm saying as your legal and legitimate treaty partner, not the Waitangi Treaty, the Moai crown, dirt crown on his head as LORE, God's Spirit law, and the King's LAW law. Those two laws, crown and land title, native, and deed of title. Transfer from a native, you, on your native land of Northern Ireland, Scotland, England, Wales, India, China, New Zealand, Australia, Canada, America, is subject to these two kings, one living and one deceased, and I'm standing there talking as my own competent witness of the history of kings with the DNA and the patent invention rights. Claim of rights to what I'm saying is the truth prevails over any other instrument outside of that 23 page, and that's a lot of information that I freely give to anyone that can gravitate to its original indigenous history as a scribe of the contract between Britain, Westminster, and us here in New Zealand under Dutch New Zealand and Easter Island or Rapa Nui title transfer of the 10-acre block of land from each of these Dutch countries to the British Crown. Not the Netherlands Crown, but to the British Crown. I'm putting two and two together to make that jurisdiction in Westminster on England's soil sovereign land join up with the King of Netherlands as live king to go with the flag. Dutch flag. It is a Dutch flag. And Luke King from Ngāpuhi, you saying the whakaputanga is the right flag to New Zealand. You put it up on Te Tii Marae that was built by Pākehā woman. Okay, it's a Pākehā run marae because I know it back to front. I know Nuki Ulrich was the leader of the Whakamininga Maori government in Kaio. I joined with him and was told, go back to Ngāti down the east coast where you come from. And Nuki said, no, he's got something to say. I'm still saying the same thing. Luke King, you weren't there. I was. That's why Nuki always said to me, put it on the table. Put your information on the table. Every time I go to Waitangi, put information on the table. Nobody wants to know. Because you don't know, you've got your own whakapapa. rules. Nothing wrong with that, nothing wrong with the whakapapa, because that's your story. I went with the whakamininga and whakaputanga with Mohi Manukau. And all the history of your treaty claims is in the Waitangi Tribunal with the name Manukau on it. I said, take it off your treaty claims, what do you got? Nothing. Because John Rogan, judge in Awaroa, Helensville, Bank, Court, married into Manukau family, John Rogan, and Dick Rogan down East Coast married into the Wānoa family. That's why the two go together with the British Crown title and the wooden Confederation of the United Tribes flag, stuck with its legs right in the soil land forever, in my mind. Because I was there with Mohi at the time of the 10-acre block. It's still there with his name on it. They're not to touch it, because it's sacred. Sanctuary. And it's got to stay there as the authority for all mortgage lands in the world. Killen. That's what I'm trying to say. Your land is mortgaged. You need to go to a mortgage school to learn about your own native, indigenous land, sovereign. If you don't know mortgage, how would you fight the battle of ownership of your land by a foreign government? That's all this is. That's all it is. Piece of paper with someone else's name on your land. Kill Someone else has put their name on your land on a piece of paper to say it's our law, not your law, their law. And I'm putting the two kings' laws on your land. See? One with a flag that goes around the world on dry land. All the other flags in the world are in the sea. You need a courthouse to come off the sea onto the dry land. With King William IV, you don't need a courthouse if you know what to do with a native title. Only a native chief can sell native land, not a Maori. A Maori can't sell native land, only a king or queen. See, you got it? You got it? That's how simple it should be. Who holds the deed on the land? You must have a deed, Luke King, and all you Maoris up there, and you put my name off the whakamininga. I'm offended by that. I'm offended that I've been thrown under the bus because I'm not there. You know why I'm not there? Because you won't listen to me. No one ever listens to me because it's too raw, to the bone. It's right next to the bone, hitting a nerve. It's there. It won't go away because it's in here. Everything of Ngāpuhi is in here. Okay, I've lived 50 years of service to Ngāpuhi. Now the young ones come along and you know more than anybody because it's your land you're talking about up there. What about the rest of it? Who's on the land? The whole country. Have you got the title deed for the whole country? Because all I see is Manukau on it. And the British put the Manukau's name on. The Moriori, what did you do? Shot them all up. Somebody's got to pay for that. You know what? I made a green pound note to mortgage anybody that can't stack up against that 23-page document. The only thing to do is to take me to court. I'm waiting for someone to take me to court to try it out, to see what the judge would say. You know what he'll say? Nothing to see here. It's all out there. You know. Why didn't you do something about it? When you get your name in black and white, accused, alleged of a fraud, why didn't you do something about it? That's what I'm saying, Killen. The proof is in affidavits. And the mouth is another affidavit. When you talk on your 2 feet with your own surname, don't borrow anybody else's name, like some people do, and change it to another name that sounds like Maori from an English name, then you got a problem. You have a problem when you start playing around with DNA. That's what's happening with the injection. You look at yourself and who gave the permission to come on your land and jab you? How are you going to stop the jab without that? Yeah, there's a lot. You've got 50 years to catch up. It's catch-up time. Right? I don't make these videos and all these stories for nothing. You either have it or you don't. If you don't want it, it's for somebody else. You know who's picking it up? All the pirates in the sea. Okay, on the high sea. You call them bandits. They put a bandage over your mouth, shut you down, because you need to play their game. It's a game of politics. You must vote in order to get your message across. That's what Jack is doing in Hamilton on FM radio with Janny and Jeff and Simon. You see, they're trying to get the message across to vote in the council. You know, the councils have got the Municipal Corporations Act. Do you know where that came from? King William IV and that flag. You know that or you don't? That's gone right around the world. The same Municipal Corporations Act of 1835, that flag. It's more than just a Declaration of Independence flag for an 1840 treaty that's null and void. Because you know why? It's got no end contract date. Got to have a contract. No contract, no date, no contract. There, Killen, that's another one. Contract. Makes law, law makes contract. Simple. Sign, name, ID. That's what they're trying to do. Get your ID and your right name. Can't bodge your name like here. Whose country is this? Anybody's. It's a free country for anybody to come in. Immigrants, anybody can put their name on and get the same benefits as a pensioner. They get more rights, same as Britain, Ireland. They get thrown under the bus, the local people, and then the immigrants come in. That's why they flood the place out with immigrants. And the immigrants end up in Parliament. Majority voting. That's how it's done. Killen, sad to say, you can't get rid of the immigrants because they do all the work while everybody sits around smoking and drinking. Alcohol. You go down the road, all you see is liquor shops. They put them there deliberately to wind your head up, off, like a screw coming out loose. So there. That's their deterrent for you getting near what they're doing on your land as alien invader. See, so that's another one. Just alien invaders on your land, and they're very useful if you know what to do with them. See, all immigrants are not bad. They're there because they've been displaced off their land because the corporate thugs and pirates wants the minerals and the oil and all its natural resources on that land in Africa and put them on somebody else's country. That's what has happened with Africa. They've gone and say to France, go back, out of here, we don't want you, and said to Americans, out of here, we'll deport you out of here. And they're waking up on their own. We've got a flag to do it for 257 countries, native, sovereign people, to get the alien, foreign, private corporation off the land and put yourself as your own government. Pick your own. You know what we're going to do? This is the proposal of the two kings. Is to dissolve Parliament and put a new one in. At the moment, Netherlands is putting a government in, a new government in. You know what? They got the right idea. They used the coalition parliament, all the parties, pick out the best, and they all decide who's going to be the Prime Minister from the coalition. Why didn't they do that in England? Why didn't they have a constitution in England in black and white instead of just assuming? You know why? Because the Germans borrowed it and used it as a wrecking yard to make a separate tribe, just like New Zealand. Ngāti Whātua o Ōrākei, and that's in Auckland, and Ngāti Whātua ki Kaipara. That tribe is homemade wrecking yard of the New Zealand Crown Government, and its old name was Queen and Right of New Zealand. They threw that under the bus in the rubbish, and then they stuck a new one up in 2023 called Crown Sovereign of New Zealand. See, they used the word crown and the word sovereign. Then Cindy Kiro in 2023 made her own metal crown on her head and a blue background flag, a little flag, then threw it up at Waitangi on the treaty grounds as a Maori Japanese flag of New Zealand. Guess it. And then when I said, take it down, they pulled it down and got everything off the Gazette, right off Wikipedia, right off everywhere, and hid it away and put the Union Jack flag. They legislated that out. You won't find it anywhere where they legislated it in and legislated it out and then legislated. There's no legislation of the 1902 Union Jack flag up, putting back up. So they just put it up, put it down, put it back up again. And then still use our Confederation of United Tribes flag as a whakaputanga. That's the government in Wellington. They call it a whakaputanga and a whakamininga too. So you got Maoris there running the country and Maoris up at Kiki Marae trying to make a new sovereign government. I tried that for years with Sue Nakora from Ngāti Pro. She's a Harvard University graduate, a professor. Okay. She did the Maori policies. That's why I know a lot from her brain. And all the history of Ngāti Pro and Suapia and Nata. That's all that history down there is up here. See? They twisted everything around with Ngāti Whātua Ōrākei in Auckland, and they shut a Y121 treaty claim down. Mohi Manukau's treaty claim down. That's one of the oldest claim with Judge John Rogan from Ireland. Okay, the Irishmen, they shut it down because they didn't want anyone to know the secret of Freemasons. I'm doing the Freemasons titles. You gotta know that. You gotta go to Freemason school. I went to Mohi Manukau's Freemason school at the lodge in Helensville, up the road. Okay, I'm drop them off, pick them up, drop them off. But never walked in there. I'm not a Freemason, but I know all about it because I got the documents. Bro, Mr. Bro, Mr. Bro. Bro this, bro that. See, it works. It works if you know. They knew the hydrogen turbines bridge I was putting in the Kaipara. It got approval from Mohi Manukau Freemason and the Rogans Freemasons. It got approved by PricewaterhouseCoopers accountants, chartered accountants. It got approved by Transpower, the biggest power lines company, pylons in New Zealand, that takes the power right through the country. They got approval, letter, going in partnership with me and Mohi Manukau. See, all that, you don't know that, Luke King. You don't know economics. Okay? You don't know any of that because it's not wired in your brain. I'm carrying that gene of the Rogan in my head, and the gene of Mohi Manukau Moriori in my brain. I'm loyal to them. I'm loyal to Ngāpuhi and Luki Ulrich and his wife at the time, and our history at Kaio. See, I've got it planned in my head, right back. And when I see that I'm no longer on the whakaminenga in Waitangi, whether I'm there or not, I'm carrying the history right here. You won't get rid of that because it's going to float around forever. I see on my website all the videos have been cut out, taken out, but the documents survive because I've got a robot. Microsoft, well that's Bill Gates, Copilot, AI robot, doing the legalese work to make sure that the courts understand the court I'm running has pictures. They don't like graphic pictures of a suspect or alleged person. You can't get your photo out of this courthouse. That's native. You see, you have to take me to court. I'm waiting for someone to take me to court, see how I get on, see how it gets on. I'm not saying to win, but see how you get on. To see if the documents you got stack up to the courts that got you on the land in the first place. May get you off the land. A mortgagee sale. That's who I am. I went to a mortgagee school in real estate. Try that one. And a mechanic school to learn how to use your brain. I wish I had your brains and wired them in. See? Because all I'm saying is you got a long way to go. Okay, that's all, Kiran. That's all I wanted to say here. Is that we've got a job to do. We've got to put the two kings together, the flag and the semiconductor technology invention together, Dutch. Okay, that's all. We'll see you later, and I'll put this up. Okay, bye for now. Today being Thursday, the 29th, I think it is, 30th. The 30th of October 2025. Here in Auckland, Otahuhu, New Zealand. Bye for now. Have a nice day.